Hey guys, Eric here. I'm about to head out of Dollar Tree. I just stopped by to pick up a couple of things so I can start cooking again tonight. And I wanted to talk to you about my experience as a Sigma-INFJ. Now, if you don't know about the 5 personality types between men and women, I'm sure you've heard a lot of alpha and beta talk on all around YouTube, how to be an alpha male and 20 traits of an alpha male that women love and how to attract any woman's attention. And they're talking about alpha, beta. Don't be a beta, be an alpha. But they don't talk about are the other 3 types: gamma, sigma, and I'm forgetting the last one. But anyways, there's actually 5 different types, and go ahead and Google this if you aren't sure yourself about it. But basically, I am a Sigma, which the short version is Sigmas are not born. Like, you don't have a disposition to act this way, much like a beta or an alpha. Sigmas are made through their experiences. And as an INFJ, I find, from my personal perspective, and correct me if I'm wrong, feel free to comment your type below, but that most INFJs are either beta or gammas. And I'll spare you the details for the sake of time in this video. But talking a little bit about the Sigma personality type, we are, you could say that we make our own rules. The Sigma personality type is, oh, hold on, there is a cop on the side of the road, pulled someone over. I'm going around him, taking the back road. Get out of his way, and there goes all the bags. So anyways, the Sigma personality type, it makes their own rules, and yet, despite not conforming to and listening to rules and regulations put in place, they still find a way to win the game. An example would be if the rules were a one-on-one kumite sparring match. I might say, well, who decided, as a Sigma, who decided that you get to make the rules? You don't tell me how to live my life, and you don't tell me how to play this sparring match. I'm going to do it the way I want to, and I'm going to win because I've decided I'm not going to lose. I'm going to win with a handicap, as you would call it. I'm not going to let you tell me that I can use my hands and kicks, punches and kicks. I'm going to win purely with kicks, and somehow the Sigmas find a way to win. They are determined, confident people who are unshakable in their identity. But they are also people who are very mysterious and quiet and tend to keep to themselves. They're not very sociable, and yet they have the charm of charisma, and they are fortunate enough to be able to attract people to them without even trying. Something about, and that is the refrigerator next to me, something about the appearance that they give off that seems to elude a person's gaze of understanding gives an aroma, a sense of mystery and curiosity that draws people to them. And they have no problem being silent and keeping to themselves, but they know when to put their foot down and stand their ground. For example, this just happened 5 minutes ago at Dollar Tree. I was reading an article on my phone, just sitting down. I already paid for my stuff, so I decided to sit on the side of the table by one of the empty cash registers. And I'm a regular there, so they didn't say anything, and quite frankly, I wouldn't have listened even if they did. They would have to tell me that I have to go before I got up and moved. But what ended up happening was, while I'm reading an article on my phone, one of my best friend, or one of them, was on break, sitting against the wall playing his Nintendo Switch. And I'm thinking in my head, you don't disturb someone who, 1, is on break, and 2, an introvert who is recharging. You give them their space. And the on-store manager at the time started talking to Travis about one of the aisles and work-related... Oh, come on, dude. Some guy decided to start parking in the middle of the street. I have to go around him. And the manager decided to start talking to, his name is Travis, while he was on break about work-related issues. And I spoke up and I said, I can't hear my own thoughts. Just looking at them, Travis knew immediately what I was trying to say, and he got it because, quite frankly, he didn't want to talk to anyone. He only spoke because he was being spoken to by his manager. The manager spoke up while she was helping a customer and said, "I don't care," and I said, "I know." That's why I had to say something. Conversation ended right there. There was nothing else she could say. That's an example of a Sigma personality type. We're confident, much like the alpha male, and yet we have no problem keeping to ourselves and carving our own path to victory, to success. We're typically not the type of person who will take charge of a situation because that involves other people, because in our mind, our success and our path is not determined by other people's involvement. If anything, the company would fall apart if it didn't have those other people. But the Sigma personality type would be perfectly content being the company. You could say, in essence, that we are lone wolves, but not necessarily by default. It's because we choose to be, and we see no reason not to be. And my experience as an INFJ Sigma personality type has been rather complicated. As an INFJ, I am somebody who enjoys my alone time. I'm somebody who needs it, and quite frankly, I'm a rather elusive individual. I tend not to say anything whenever I'm on the job. I tend not to communicate with people I don't have to, and I prefer the comfort and solace of my own home over anywhere else, which makes me seem a lot more like an introvert. And quite frankly, I am. But as a Sigma personality type, I also have an ambition to lead myself and set an example to other people. And I understand that this isn't really the norm for INFJs. I'm sure most INFJs aren't Sigma types. And while this certainly could be an exception depending on your background. I've noticed a lot of INFJs come out of an environment of abuse. The Sigma personality type is formed, and the experiences that we go through and the process of overcoming the obstacles that we personally face through rejection and the like are part of what forms the Sigma personality type. And not all INFJs have gotten to that place where they are able to step through their scars and come out of the ashes a new creation, or a new person, I should say. And that is my personal experience as a Sigma INFJ. I've found, and by the way, there's differences in the male and female Sigma type, so definitely something to look into. 10 types in total, if you count the genders. So, me personally, I have found it very difficult to balance my desire to impact other people in a way that shows them that I come out on top without their help. I don't need anyone, I don't want anyone, and that's part of the INFJ part. Sigmas don't necessarily not want other people in the equation, but as an INFJ, I don't. I would rather make the mistake and be wrong than ask somebody else for help. And luckily for me, I have such a high IQ and EQ that I make the right decision a good 90% of the time. And the times that I wouldn't, God always corrects me. So, me and God and Jesus have been like the center of my relationship as an INFJ, and honestly, he talks to me daily, and I understand that's rare in the body of Christ to have such direct and constant communication with God through the Holy Spirit, but that provides me a lot of the social interaction that I need. Anyways, kind of veering off topic here, I find that being a Sigma type is much like being a revolutionary, and it fits well with the INFJ personality type, because INFJs aren't conformists. They're revolutionaries. They are dreamers, but they tend to stand up for other people. And as a Sigma, I feel detached as an INFJ, emotionally and personally detached from those around me and from the world around me, and yet simultaneously observing it as if through a second lens. And it's a very weird feeling. because I recognize that I'm leading myself emotionally, mentally, physically, and where I'm going with my life. I'm leading my own life, and I simultaneously observe the lives of those around me as lives to be, what's the word? As lives to be guided, influenced. And the Sigma personality type, one of the key traits is that they are very mysterious and they tend to have a lot to say, but they're very insightful and they know when to keep to themselves. And I have to tell you that as an INFJ, wanting to be able to influence people in such a way that helps and motivates them, but understanding that they won't be motivated by my actions makes me feel very I don't think ostracized is the right word. It makes me feel almost like my actions would be in vain. I desperately want to make an impact on people, but so many people have a stubborn, hard heart, and even if you speak, they'll be like, yeah, I know what you're talking about, but like in their heart, I know that they are not following me, they're not listening, they're not taking it to heart. Proverbs is very clear that an enemy flatters with their lips, but harbors malice in their hearts. And but the wisdom, but the wise would rebuke someone openly. Better is open rebuke than hidden love, and the wise would be open to rebuking you. And the wounds of a friend can be trusted, right? So if somebody disagrees with you openly, there's a lot less to hide than for someone to just blindly say, okay, yes, okay, all right, I understand, good job. And the people that disagree think they know better, and they don't see what I see. And that's not an arrogant statement, it is a logic-oriented fact. All right, I am a prophet and an evangelist, and it is very strange. This is a topic for another video. It is very strange to be able to know the intents of the hearts of people while being an INFJ, and simultaneously wanting to reach out to them and understanding no matter what I say, they will not listen, and the foolishness of fools is folly, so they will continue in their stubborn ways, and the simplicity of the simple will destroy them, and they will go on not heeding any correction as the simple do. And it is very, very difficult for me as a Sigma INFJ to feel like the people... What is that beeping? That is really weird. It is difficult for me as a Sigma INFJ to feel these conflicting emotions and simultaneously want to do something about it, but understand that I can't. And that I believe that has actually molded me to be more of a teacher than a direct influencer, which I'm perfectly fine with. I'll be straightly honest. I am not as... Is that beeping? Hang on. Alright, the beeping was the lithium-ion battery in my fridge. But getting back on track, it feels very complex, and I feel like what's caused me to be a teacher isn't necessarily a bad thing, and my personality type isn't suited to directly... I want to put this. It's not suited to directly involving myself with people, and because as a Sigma, I would prefer to show rather than tell. Sigmas are people who are male Sigmas. I've been saying Sigmas this whole video. Male, not female. Females are completely different. But male Sigmas are the types who would rather show than tell, and then tell that they showed. And that's me as an INFJ. It feels like I can't really just teach people before I do it. It's why I tend to speak out of my experiences and what I know and what I've observed, rather than what I've read online or learned. And I feel like as a Sigma INFJ, as much as I want to help people, if someone has not been through something that I personally have been through, I really don't want anything to do with them. And I know that's shallow and that's not really fair, but I feel like if I involve myself with people who can't relate to me, one, I'm wasting my time, and two, I'm not getting anything out of it. And I realize that's selfish, but that's also the natural born leader aspect in me, is I need to know that I'm actually getting something, giving something back to myself. So I understand that this kind of contradicts a lot of the INFJ personality types, things I've spoken of in this video, and that's why it's very weird. INFJs are already a paradox of emotions, and this kind of adds some more complexities to me as an individual. I want to be true to myself as an INFJ, right? That we're authentic, we're real, and that means being willing to keep people out of my life, which is counterproductive to an INFJ's role in society, right? We're very outgoing people, maybe not outspoken, but we love hard. We love hard, and that means that we have to find people to love, and I just don't see the time being invested worth it, because most people, you just don't understand that there's even a problem. And you can try convincing them, but then they'll say, no, there's not a problem. You're wrong. And they'll speak up and disagree. And the ones that don't speak up and disagree don't ask questions. They'll say, why do you think that happens? Okay, I'm listening. No, they'll just say, okay, cool, well, that's good to know. And then they'll fake being your friend and, like, never talk to you about that topic ever again, because they're not even thinking about it. They lied to your face. And then it's like, I know before I even speak to someone, I know how the conversation's going to go as a prophetically anointed individual. And that is very complex for me to feel like I'm doing anything as an INFJ. So as a Sigma, I feel like the best thing I can do is help me. And then people will see by my actions, not my words, and that will get their attention, as a Sigma naturally draws people to themselves. So I feel like even that once they're drawn to me, I would like to do something, but I understand that doing nothing is probably a little bit better, because saying something will only cause them to question my actions, my lifestyle. But if I show them by my lifestyle what's in my heart and what I'm actually thinking, then using few words is probably better than using more words. But again, that's not normal for an INFJ. Right? You see how this is complex. And then it's kind of like, I want to connect them, but I don't connect with them. And the Sigma in me is like, yes, now I can continue focusing on myself to improve myself and help myself. And then the INFJ part of me is saying, but you want to advocate for them too, right? The Sigma part of me is like, yes, but if I advocate for them, then I can't focus on myself in that moment. And they're not going to give anything back to me. I'm giving to them. So the INFJ part of me says, yes, but that's the point in giving. And then the Sigma part says, yes, but by giving, I'm not helping me. I'm not leading me, and I'm not acting for advocating for myself. I need to advocate for myself. And by doing so, other people will see that there's a problem or not necessarily, other people will see that I'm living differently than them, and I'm still winning the game. And the INFJ says yes, but them seeing doesn't necessarily mean them changing. Go do something to try to help them. Talk to them. Connect with them. The Sigma says, no, I don't want to connect with people. And it's very it is very hard to walk this fine line, but I have to say, despite being an INFJ in nature and the way that I think, I am definitely a Sigma dominant in the way I live my lifestyle. But I show the weaknesses of an INFJ, meaning that as I'm living my life, the evidence that I'm an INFJ seeps through the surface. And in my vulnerabilities, I tend to love people more like an INFJ TI dominant. But at the same time, I deal with my FE on a regular basis. So I'm a little bit burned out. I need to get inside, take this fridge in, and take in my groceries. Excuse me. You all have a wonderful day. Comment below your thoughts if you know one of your 5 personality types. And let me know what you'd like me to talk about next. Share any questions or thoughts or comments, etc. You know the deal. Like, subscribe if you like the video. If you didn't like it, don't like it. Dislike it if you really want to. It doesn't matter to me. Again, Sigma, whatever. I don't really care. I'm going to win, and then in 10 years, you'll look back and be like, man, that one dislike meant absolutely nothing. I can't believe I was so vain. Now he's successful and I'm not. Or he's successful and I never once supported him. And then you're going to want to support me. So one way or another, I'll earn your respect. Comment below your thoughts. See you all next time.